So now we're just going to move on to our next presentation, and we're going to continue the conversation. And now we're going to find out how eSIM and the other emerging technologies, like satellite, like private networks, like RedCap, are really expanding the IoT ecosystem and really helping providers offer simple and scalable connectivity across the industry. So please help me welcome Mark from Verizon Business to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. Bon dia, buenos dias. Welcome to Barcelona. I hope that your event so far has been filled with some meaningful relationships, some good new partnerships, and hopefully, and most importantly, inspiration for what the future can hold. And today, that's what we're going to talk about today, what this rapidly expanding ecosystem is going to help us deliver. But before we do that, I want to talk about the future that you've already created. And I'll start with a big thank you to everybody in this room and at these conferences, because it's in moments like these that we define this incredible world that we've been able to live in. You heard about those 1 billion narrowband connections, but let me share my journey to Barcelona and how the IoT and digital infrastructure that you've built enabled an incredible experience for me. So like many of you, you're planning and you realize, there's things that I forgot. Well, now, rather than going to a store, I open an app and I can immediately order and within 1 hour receive the products that I had. But the IoT ecosystem enables me to instantly communicate, enables the person to find via beacon those items quickly. And in fact, I can track them on my app so I can see when that toothbrush will arrive. As I plan my trip, I can immediately send to my car the destination that I'm going. JFK parking lot, long term, send. My car knows my calendar and anticipates and warms up to the perfect temperature that I need it to be. In addition to that, it's connected to my home via a charger, alert, charge complete, and my meter is letting the grid know what the energy demand is, so if they need to monitor that, control that, they can remotely to ensure that we don't have overloads or blackouts. Getting into my car, my app connects, knows I'm there, the door opens, I sit in, hit full self-drive, and it takes me to my destination while I stream music, utilize Grok, and start to practice how to say good morning in Catalan. Bon dia. Go figure. As I arrive, the parking lot knows I'm there, uses a camera, the license plate reader says, your car has arrived, the payment is made, the gate opens, I travel to the airport, face detection scanned, little creepy, but it knows me the entire way. This is the world that we've created. We've simplified travel to the extent where I almost didn't have to touch the wheel the entire time, and my trip was stress-free. These are the types of ecosystems across many different environments that all of us are working in partnership to create, and the new technologies that are emerging are going to make that even more accessible and easier for the world to consume. But how do we make all of this magic work? Although it was easy for me and simple for me as the consumer, it was not so easy for everybody in this room to enable, and I see some head shaking, this incredible ecosystem. Gosh, for that connectivity to work, we needed a myriad of public and private networks. We needed a collaboration across edge computing. We needed cloud infrastructure. We needed to connect all of it, orchestrate it with random platforms that we can hopefully bring together. And as we travel globally, you heard the promise of being able to localize and enable that technology to seamlessly work. This requires an ecosystem of partners and collaboration, the likes of which the world has not seen before. And so today, the message that I hope to leave with you is that we're open for that collaboration. We want to enable an ecosystem that makes it simple for our consumers and for the world to benefit from the promise of what we can deliver tomorrow. And in fact, when you think about what AI can deliver within IoT, 70% of those that we surveyed in enterprise said they are speeding up their deployments because of IoT. IoT are now the eyes, the ears, the smell, and even the touch of the AI brain. They are giving the data, and the AI is helping give insight, and those insights can also create action based upon the sensors and the connections that we've deployed. Now, what does that journey look like for our customers? Well, it can be a long and difficult one that we are hoping to simplify together. They need to identify what are the challenges. We work collaboratively, we whiteboard, we discuss. What are you looking to solve? We want to manufacture here in the United States. We want to localize everywhere. Well, how do we deliver that? Let's select the technology. Let's walk through which platforms, the solutions. How do we integrate? What does day two support look like? And of course, is AI going to be able to help provide efficiencies, benefit, and also a tagline to the product or the initiative that I'm creating? Now, if we're putting the customer at the center, all they want is, make that simple for me. But in reality, is it simple? Well, it can be, but it requires that true partnership and collaboration. If you think about the multiple OEMs and platforms that need to integrate and communicate, you think about the global scale that our customers are demanding so they can manufacture once and produce and ship globally, that requires separate contracts often, different systems, different regulatory environments, and of course, bureaucracy and obstacles. As we look to expand beyond those borders, technologies like eSIM make it simple for us to give a true local experience, a prioritized experience, an experience that you would have as a native anywhere in the globe. The advance of non-terrestrial networks and new companies emerging and an expanding ecosystem based upon standards has enabled us to expand the borders beyond where our networks may support. And of course, new things like slicing can help us enable the critical applications with a service level that we've never been able to do before across wireless. We're truly able to give an experience that's as reliable as fiber over the air. So we conducted a survey and we said, customers, tell us what is important to you. And I picked some interesting trends that I thought you might find interesting as well. Well, IoT, as you can see, is a pretty big business. It's already a large business. And 66% of the enterprises that we surveyed said they are already currently and fully utilizing and have deployed an IoT system, an IoT ecosystem. They're realizing the benefits today. 81% of them see value in 5G, indicating strong confidence. Now, what is that confidence? Well, they want longevity. They want reliability. I just left Distributech, which is a large energy conference in the United States. All of them are concerned about the infrastructure, how we're going to meet the energy demands, but they're also concerned about their capital allocations and how do we plan for the long term. 5G is what they feel can help enable that with stability, security, reliability, and now with new things like RedCap, a cost that makes sense for these types of use cases. AI, 84% consider it a key technology, and as I mentioned before, an overwhelming majority of our customers are now accelerating their deployments. In fact, a third, 33% of the customers we surveyed said they now intend to have deployments of 10,000 or more cellular IoT connections in their ecosystem. So think about that. Massive IoT is becoming mainstream, and all of it needs to be secure. So what are some ways that Verizon is looking to enable this simplification and make it easy? Many of you may be familiar with our global IoT orchestration platform. I'll go down a layer so you can understand how that works and what we enabled and why we're approaching the spirit of partnership today. As you know, Verizon is a global provider. Our core wireless network is in the United States. In order to deliver a true eSIM seamless experience for our customers, we've partnered with Singtel, Telenor IoT, Aris, and Bell on the terrestrial, and we are now partnering with Skylo for non-terrestrial to make it simple for our customers to use our one platform, which is ThingSpace. Everything is fully integrated. They can have one contract, and I'll announce today we've now expanded to 143 markets. Unfortunately, that didn't make the slide since that was just finalized this week, and we're excited to add more so our customers can utilize this seamlessly. What does that deliver? Well, a large racing company, as you can imagine, they bring their racing team all around the globe. They need connectivity in the vehicles, communication, and they need simplification to be able to get the analytics. The last thing that the racing team wants to worry about is how do I activate that connectivity when I'm traveling to these different countries. We enabled a single seamless platform and contract, a single SIM when they arrive. Everything works without delay. This is simple for the customers, but was not necessarily easy to create. But this is what all of us in the room need to initiate and need to work in the spirit of, because try as we might, we are likely not going to be the end-all and be-all for the large customers that we need to serve. We need to work collaboratively to deliver that. What's another area that I'm extremely passionate about? In fact, if you have not had a chance to visit the 5G Automotive Association's booth, I encourage you to do this because they are a driving force in the industry for how we connect vehicles. I'll now be on their board, and I'm a proud member because this is a worthy cause. In the United States alone, we've had over 6 million accidents last year, resulting in 40,000+ deaths. Congestion on the roads is a real problem, as many of you probably experience coming to conventions like this today. Pollution and other environmental concerns are real. And although that journey that I told you today and how I got to Barcelona was incredible, what was missing was the connection to the infrastructure to give me line of sight beyond what my vehicle could see. Imagine a world where the car understands when that light is going to change. Reducing braking and keeping that momentum saves fuel, energy, and congestion. In addition, imagine a world where the ecosystem, the cameras, and you probably saw an announcement from Verizon, Aptiv, and Wind River, where we showed through our network-based edge transportation exchange, cars and cameras communicating with each other so a car could see around a corner without line of sight. We've virtualized in our network, utilizing mobile edge compute to provide a low latency network-based solution that works across the existing cellular ecosystem today. We understand not every vehicle has Verizon, and so this is designed to work across every carrier. We understand that perhaps not every customer will be utilizing Verizon, and so it's standards-based to ensure that we can exchange that data and truly deliver the promise. Now, many of you are probably saying, what is Scott Nash doing in the snow with that parking meter? Well, look, we've connected that parking meter. That's an IoT connection, so we can make the payment. Scott is trying to figure out how to do it because the app wouldn't download. Has anybody had that experience? By the way, I see some more folks nodding. I don't know if you know the scam, but this is a little public service announcement. Folks are putting QR codes that just route to their financial bank and asking you to make a payment, and you're not doing that to the municipality, you're doing it to the scammer. And so more and more the idea of enabling a world where that doesn't have to happen is becoming important. Things like this connected infrastructure and our edge transportation exchange, combined with hyper-precise location that provides GPS and network-based technology to deliver near centimeter level accuracy, so I know exactly where I'm parked or what lane I'm in, will enable that car to just pull up and say, Scott, don't put those Italian loafers inside the snowy slush in Detroit. Would you like to stay for an hour or two? Click here in your infotainment system. A simplified experience for the consumer, perhaps a new revenue stream for the auto OEM, and an environment that can deliver the promise of the future that we all know we can make collaboratively today. IoT is everywhere that AI is going, and platforms like this and communications like this are going to enable massive deployments that provide true value. Today, many of the insights that we provide are just that, insights that somebody needs to interpret, read, and create action. Tomorrow, across all of these industries where we're already deploying, we can utilize that data, put it in different models, create purpose-based solutions that deploy real-time action. In order to do that, this world needs to come together and create purpose and collaboration. So if you're looking forward to doing that as I am, let's create that future together. If you scan this QR code, you'll have an opportunity to connect with one of my team members who will talk to you, to hear your ideas. We understand that the world is getting smaller in terms of our ability to travel through it, but the needs are getting much broader. So I welcome all of your support, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you so much.